Hello, everybody. Hi, Danny, Nikki 95. Hey, hey. Oh, wow. Everybody's hopping on. Hey, Rashida. I haven't been here in a while. I've been busy. Very, very, very busy working on some new stuff for you guys. I don't know how people manage. Like my Colay Cosmetics, I don't know how people manage to Periscope so often. Like some of the people that I follow are scoping several times a day, and I'm like, when do you work? Because I don't have the time. But I'm here, and I'm happy to be here. I haven't been here in a while. Like I said, cooking up some good. Hi, YPP blog. Good evening. I've been cooking up something awesome for you guys, and it's taken a lot. It's taken a whole lot. Tara from your pretty hi pretty penny. Oh, I follow you. Your pretty pennies. I follow you. Nice to meet you, Tara. Or is it Tara or Tara? Um, so I've been putting my all into that, and I haven't had really much time to Tara. Okay, I haven't had much time to come on and scope with you guys, but I'm jumping back in here to just connect with you guys and chat. So there is a little guy down in the bottom right corner. If you tap him, I'd appreciate it if you just share this scope with your followers. Invite them here. Also, I have a heart goal. I think I want to get to 50,000. I'm not far from 50,000 hearts, so we'll just go with 50,000 today. I don't really plan on being here too long. I want to share a little bit about myself, my brands, and how I came up with the names, and kind of chit chat with you guys about selecting really good brand names for your companies, and just how to roll with that. Also, whoever is new to the scope, please say hi. Let me know where you're from, what you do. If you have a beauty brand that you're looking to start, it would be awesome if you tell me what that's all about. Other than that, let's roll with it. Oh, follow me. If you're new to the scope, make sure you're following. I never ask people to follow. Thankfully, a lot of you guys do. But I'm looking to get more followers and really just engage with you guys and figure out what it is that you need from me. So let's start with brand names. It's very important that you select a brand name that will stand the test of time and will stand out from the rest. So for those of you that don't know, a self-love lifestyle coach focusing on self-esteem, that is so important. Confidence creator, I'm glad that you're doing that, because that is so important. A lot of times people don't see the success that they deserve because they don't believe in themselves and they don't love themselves the way that they should. So that's very important. I'm thankful for you, because I know so many people that could use your services, whether they know it or not. So that's awesome. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I actually run two businesses. My primary business, or the first business that I started, is called OnVA Labs, OnVA Laboratories. And it's not spelled the way it sounds. It's actually French for desire, which is kind of my name, which is Desiree. But when I was selecting the name for my first company, my primary business, I really wanted something that was going to be a little different, but I wanted to fit in with Revlon, L'Oreal, Shiseido, Coty, Estee Lauder. Who are some other brand names? But if you notice, the high end, really iconic brands in beauty that have stood the test of time all have these really strange names that have like nothing to do with nothing. Hi, Rashida, you didn't know that? Yes. So all of these brand names, they really don't have anything to do with beauty. Like nothing about that says nothing about L'Oreal says I'm selling cosmetics. Nothing about Avon says I have cosmetics. Nothing about the name. Did I say Revlon yet? Revlon. Does that sound like cosmetics? Shiseido. Nope. Coty. Nope. So, but they were exotic names. Like they sounded interesting. So I wanted my brand name to be interesting, as well, and fit in with those types of brands. I didn't want such a literal name for my brand where people knew it was beauty right off the bat. And I guess it was just me kind of playing follow the leader, looking at what was successful and wanting to fit in with that. So I literally brainstormed. My parents are my first mastermind group. I was raised by two entrepreneurs. They work 9 to 5s, but they've always been entrepreneurs at heart. So they've always had businesses. I grew up with my parents having a janitorial service and doing multi-level marketing and real estate. And my mom was an image consultant, cosmetologist, and all those different kinds of things. So they've always had multiple job titles, multiple careers, and they're very, very well versed in entrepreneurship and business. They're very smart, business-minded people. So they are my first mastermind. So at the time that I was starting my business, I was fresh out of college and I was living with my parents. So I sat down with them and said, okay, we got to come up with a name for this company that I'm starting. What am I going to call it? And I was like, I really want like a French name or something like that. I want it to make sense to me, but it doesn't necessarily have to make sense to everybody else. So we started toying with some names and using like Google Translate and looking up French translations of different words. And Envie is spelled E-N-V-I-E. It's French, pronounced Envie, and it means desire. My name is Desiree. It means the desired one. And so my name is special to my parents. It's special to my mom because I was a second born. I have an older brother, and by the time he was, I want to say 9 months, 10 months, something like that, he was like walking and running all over the place, and he wasn't a baby anymore. He didn't want to be held. He wanted to just run and be wild and be a boy. And so my mother wanted another baby. So here I came. And she named me Desiree, the desired one, because she wanted me. So isn't that nice? Sweet, right? So my first company that I wanted and that I was ready and willing to put my all into was named after me and named out of my desire to be an entrepreneur and to really make something work and make something stick. So that's the way I named my first company, Envie. The Glam Scientist, which is the company that most of you guys know me for, is my personal brand. And I actually had the name Glam Scientist before I even launched Envie. And it was my my social media handle. Yeah, brand stories are everything. And that's one that I never really tell, Rashida. So that's cool. That's funny. I've known Rashida since I started. So before I launched Envie, when I was just Glam Scientist and I was on Twitter and blogging, I picked the name Glam Scientist because I needed a name that was kind of catchy. I wanted something to go for, something that would be kind of eye-catching, ear-catching, that showcased the personality or something about who I was. And I've always been like a girly girl. I've always really been into hair and skin, accessories. You know, I love my bracelets. If y'all see, I love bracelets and jewelry. I always feel if I don't have on earrings, I say I'm ashy. I look ashy without earrings. That's been my thing since like 7th grade. I always have to have earrings. And it used to be the bigger the better. These are like my adult size earrings now, but they used to be like really big. But that's just me. Very although my personality, I'm kind of I'm outgoing and I have sort of an outgoing personality, but I'm really also kind of like introverted and low-key. I kind of stay to myself. Yeah, I know. I kind of stay to myself. So, but I have a glamorous side. So you feel like a boy. Yeah, you know me. You feel like a boy without earrings. Exactly. It's like, it used to be so bad. Like if I, especially like in college or something, if I was rushing out of the house and I left without earrings, I would go back to get the earrings because you can't be ashy all day at school, right? You have to have earrings. So that's just me. That's just who I am. And I wanted my Twitter name and my blog name to be something that was ear-catching, something that you would see or hear and say, I wonder what that's all about. So that's where Glam Scientist came from. I am a cosmetic chemist, and I mean, cosmetic chemist, most people don't even know what that is. But glam scientist, when you say that, people actually want to know what that's all about. And I've had some people like not know and not really care to know. They just assume and keep it moving, which is fine. But then other people will say, what's that about? And they'll click to see what it is. And so that's something that's always been my social media handle. I didn't really turn it into a brand, a real personal brand that I was actually building until this last year. I launched like a little over a year ago. So that is the story of my brand names. I have a friend, Patrice. I don't think she's on this scope, but make sure you guys follow her. Her Periscope name is ESQ, which is for Esquire. She is a creative genius attorney, top rated IP attorney, and she's done, recently she did a scope about selecting, thank you, Flora Annie. Recently she's done a scope about selecting a brand name that is trademarkable. I know that's not a word, but that's what we're going to go with. Trademarkable. And she also blogged about it, I believe. So she goes very in depth on information that you need to know. Yes, thanks for dropping her handle. So she's very in depth about information that you need to know, especially when it comes to trademarking, because there are barriers to getting trademarks. And if you're looking to grow an iconic brand, which is what I specialize in, I'm a cosmetic chemist. I develop high-end beauty products, and I build iconic beauty brands. I am the glam scientist. So if you're here with me, being iconic is something that you look forward to, or that you're looking towards, you're pressing towards. So in order to be an iconic brand, you have to have your intellectual property all lined up. Having a brand name that is indisputable is so important for building a brand that is worth millions, or worth billions, or a brand that can actually be, the only Avante, sorry. So it's very important that you have a name that you own, that you can actually gain ownership to, and that, hey Tia, hi Erica. So it's very important that you have a name that you can actually own and retain ownership to, and that you can defend, because when you've built a brand to certain levels of success, holding companies are going to come along and want to buy you out. Companies that have plenty of money, a lot of muscle, a lot of influence, and they can often take your brand to higher heights that you couldn't necessarily go to on your own, and they'll pay you millions and millions and millions of dollars for what you've built, for them to take over and continue to build. So owning your brand name is very important to that, because if you don't own the name, then no one can really come along and buy it. You're kind of stuck, and that makes you less purchase worthy to the big wigs, because they need something that they can own, something they can hold on to, that they can protect, and that nobody else can come in on. So it's very, very important in selecting a name. I know Patrice, that was creative_Esquire, ESQ. She mentioned that the more arbitrary names, the names that really don't speak about, like really don't say literally what your brand is or what it's all about, those names are usually easier to trademark, I believe is what she said. And trademarking is very important. I've actually had just recently, unfortunately, a client that was rolling with the name, and she was, I guess at some point was going to get it trademarked, and then she looked up and somebody beat her to the punch, which happens a lot. But it's really important that you kind of know what you're looking for, and that you speak with an attorney, consult with an attorney, so that you have someone guiding you, and you're not like wasting your time or falling in love with a name that you can't keep. Because that is really hard. That is so hard to like fall in love with a name, and you're like all into your brand, and you've built so much around this name because you love it so much, and you start to have visions about how it's going to look in print and on shelves, and like you just get really excited about it, and then all of a sudden it's not yours anymore. Like there's nothing you can do with it. And then what? You have to start all over. And that's so hard, because now you have to go through different options and rack your brain. And it's not easy to come up with a name. especially if you don't have a clue about what direction you want to go, it could be tricky. And you know, you might go through a process and have a list of names, you know, hundreds of names. I've heard of people having hundreds of names listed, and literally sitting down with an attorney to go through with this list of names and see what is going to be available for trademark. You know, and some of the stuff that you really love is going to get X'd out, because there's nothing original out here. You know, we have ideas, but there's nothing to say someone else won't have a similar idea or the same idea as we do. So it's just really important. It's really important to seek out an attorney, especially if you're looking to build an iconic brand and you want it to be protected. You want to hold on to it. So selecting a brand name is very, very important. I want to hear from you guys. Like, how did you name your company? If you've already selected a name, how did you name it? Hi, Cassandra. How did you select your name? Anybody? Cassandra, the name of your company. Cassandra owns a hair and nail salon, and the name of the salon is Pink and White. How did you decide to name your company or your salon Pink and White? Anybody else? This little hair right here is like... Anybody else? Okay, so while we're waiting on people to come through with their comments, I wanted to talk about, this is a holiday season. Like, the holiday season is upon us. This is November 2nd, right? So before now, I went through a whole series of preparing you guys through Periscope on being prepared to launch a brand before the end of the year, and preferably for the holiday season, so Black Friday. I have had a few people that actually followed through with that, and that warmed my heart so much to see that there were people that took my advice and listened to me, and they are proof that it doesn't take a whole lot of money and it doesn't take a whole lot of time. It was and still is a popular service that women could identify with. Yes, that's something very important, because when I saw the salon, Cassandra, long before I became a client, my stylist used to be, she used to have a chair at Cassandra's salon. So long before I was actually a client of the salon, I saw the name and it instantly told you what it was all about. And if everybody's familiar with the Pink and White nail service, acrylic nail service, right? So it was very popular, and I mean popular across cultures. So I remember going to school, going to university, and I don't know about other cities. Most other cities are more integrated, but Detroit is still like one of the most segregated cities. They're starting to integrate a little bit more and have, you know, some more color and cultures within the city. But for most of us growing up, it was pretty much an African-American city, African-American culture. So we liked Pink and White nails, but it wasn't until, yes, I'm in Detroit. It wasn't until college. Yep, I'm still here for now. I'm working on my exit, but for now I am still here in Detroit. Oh, you're in Grand Rapids. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking to go across the country to where it's warm. Warm and sunny. Yeah, so it was a popular service within my culture and the people that I saw day to day. But when I went to college, there were Caucasian people with pink and white sets. There were Arabic people with pink and white sets. There were Indian people with pink and white sets. It literally crossed cultures, and I had no idea. And they were just as serious about their pink and white as any of my friends ever were. So I thought that was really cool, and to know how you selected your name, Cassandra, that was cool. It's really cool. But it's still arbitrary. Pink and white is like, if you don't know, you don't know. So nobody, like if you went somewhere else, or if you spoke to someone that, when I chose Love Publicity, I was looking for a name that represented what I stood for without using my name. Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, so, yeah, Cassandra, if you were speaking to somebody that worked in like tech and they could care less about beauty, and you told them the name of your company was Pink and White, that is arbitrary. They have no idea how that relates, but it's still a catchy name. It's still a name that they will actually remember. So that was just a really good name selection. Okay, so back to what I was saying about those of you that have followed my tips about getting a brand off the ground in just a matter of months. it warmed my heart so much to see that you guys really took a hold of that advice and really worked with it. There are literally, I know some of you didn't touch it at all. Yes, you're still servicing all colors of women. That is so amazing. There were some of you that didn't touch it. I know that. Some of you were still overwhelmed with the prospects. Some of you didn't want to start on that level. Like, some of you have this concept of greatness that's like so big that you don't want to do anything until you can do everything. And I get it. I get it. But if you don't start somewhere, then you may never start at all. Like, if you wait for every single thing to be perfect and lined up, and for you to have this big, huge, grand launch, you may never get there. It may be 10 years down the line before you actually get anything done. And at that point, is what you want to do even still going to matter? Is it still going to matter to you? Is it still going to matter to the people that you designed it for, that you had the vision for? So for those of you that took those tips, took that advice, and really put action to it, I thank you for that. I appreciate that. I love getting your emails about how you're progressing. I love seeing the photos. Just last week, I started to receive photos of people's products in finished packaging, and it looks great. Like, these people that did this, when I say they didn't have a budget, like, they didn't have a set budget. They didn't have money that was dedicated to the project. They were literally taking money from their checks every 2 weeks and applying. You missed it. Are you going to do it again? Sign up for my newsletter. theglamscientist.com is my website. You'll get a pop-up. And if you subscribe to that newsletter, I probably am going to go back through it. You can also email me directly, and I will, I'll personally send you links to each of those emails that I sent out about the process of starting a company and really getting it off the ground. Awesome. Okay, I look forward to seeing that in my email. Okay, so yeah, these are not people that just had like a whole bunch of money set aside, or that were, just waiting on their opportunity to start. They did not. They literally started with what they had. And when I say I've gotten photos of beautiful colored cosmetics and beautiful packaging, and I mean, this is not packaging that they've bought thousands of jars or thousands of tubes, because they didn't have money for that. This is stock packaging, but stock packaging doesn't have to look like stock packaging. It's all about your mindset, your creativity, and what you can do. If you're the type of person that is going to be held back or guided by your limitations, then you might as well just keep working your job. There's not much else I can say about that, because we all have to start somewhere. I didn't start with a whole bunch of money at all. I literally, for those of you that this is your first scope meeting with me, I literally started my company fresh out of college. The cosmetic industry was in a hiring freeze. It was 2008. Nobody was hiring, and I had connections. I graduated from undergrad with, I had a fellowship. Undergrad students don't typically get fellowships, but I had a fellowship. So I was actually paid to do research while I was still in undergrad, working with grad students. I had 2 years laboratory experience outside of college. So I actually worked jobs in real lab experience for pretty big companies. I worked for Apsapir, and I also worked for a company here that developed medical lab fixatives. And I was the lab tech. I made everything. I made the saline solutions. I made the lab fixatives. I made if you ever had to do a stool sample, I made the chemicals or the test reagents that they use to test your stool. Like, these are the things that I did before I ever graduated from college. So I felt like I had really set myself up to do the most when I graduated. Like, I didn't want to graduate and go into an entry-level position. I wanted to graduate and go to like the next level. Like, I wanted to be a chemist 2. I don't want to be entry-level chemist when I graduated. So I did everything I possibly could to really set myself ahead. And at the time that I graduated, Oh, biology and pre-med degree alongside finance education. Wow. That's amazing. I was never into biology. I went into high school thinking that I wanted to be a doctor. Like every kid that's good at math and science, but they tell you you're going to be a doctor when you grow up, right? So when I took biology, I didn't like it. Like I couldn't get with it at all. But chemistry clicked. That was my thing. And so I rode with that. And, you know, most people say they couldn't get with chemistry. All my friends took like the P&A classes and that kind of thing. But I digress. We're having a nice little nerd conversation over here. Hated biology, but you love chemistry. Yes, Danny. So when I graduated, nobody was hiring. I have an uncle that is in the industry. He's like a 35+ year vet. And he could have pulled some strings for me. And he got to pulling strings and everybody was like, sorry, we're sure she's awesome, but we're not hiring. So I couldn't just wait. I had to start my company. I literally started with the money I had left over from my tax return after I bought a car, because in my senior year of college, my car caught on fire. So I didn't have a car, and I had 2 kids and no car. So I had to buy a car, because in Detroit, there's not really public transportation like some of the other metropolitan cities. So if you don't have a car here, you kind of like out of shape. You're in bad shape. So I didn't start with a lot of money at all. Not at all. But I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for the hiring freeze to be over in order for me to start the career of my dreams. I had to start in the moment, and that's what I did. Where I am today with my favorite boots. Yes, this is my in focus coach is my mom. My car caught on fire while I was driving it on the freeway. And I literally had to pull over, jump out. It was crazy. Like I had to pull over, jump out. I was like running up it was like a movie, guys. I was like running up the freeway, like scared the car was gonna catch on fire, you know, like like imagine that in slow motion. It's hilarious, like after the fact, but I was literally driving and the car caught on fire. So there's that. But I don't know, most girls, we always like, do you guys keep a couple pair of pumps in the back seat? So I had my favorite pair of brown boots. I had my favorite black pumps back there, and one other pair of shoes. And I mean, I really, my boyfriend was like, I'm surprised you didn't go back to get your shoes. And I was like, don't give me too much credit. Like I really thought about it. Like the front of the car was on fire, the shoes in the back seat. I thought about it. I debated. But yeah, no, I didn't do that. But yeah, that was my life. That was what happened to me. And I couldn't just wait for the perfect opportunity for everything to start. I had to start where I was. Where I am today, and the position that my company is in now, both of my companies are now, is not even where I started. It's not even where I thought I wanted to be, but it's exactly where I need to be, and I'm loving where I am. But I had to start. I couldn't wait for, my plan was to work 5 years at a big company and then leave to start my own. But now that I know myself a little bit better, if I ever got that job, working at L'Oreal or working for Avon or Shiseido or Coty, and I worked that corporate ladder, I would have just worked the ladder. Because once you start getting that consistent check, for me, especially me having children at the time that I graduated, it would have been very hard for me to leave that stability to take the risk of starting my own thing. So I'm glad that I was forced. Hi, Miko. I'm so happy that I was forced into it and I just got started. But for you, it may not be something that forces you into your situation. You might have to force yourself. And that was the purpose of me kind of doing that series where I was telling you guys how to start with what you are and go and just take it from there and work towards it and use where you start to fund the big dreams. That's why I did that, because you may not have situations that force you into the next level like I did. So you may have to do it yourself. And that was what it was all about. So, hey, Ashley. So I just wanted to, I didn't plan on even going into all of that. I was just talking about brand names today, but I want to open the floor to you guys. Thank you so much for your hearts. The hearts have been ongoing and I really appreciate that. I want to open the floor to you guys. If anyone has questions about how to start your brand, what to do on a budget, selecting a brand name, anything like that. Just the floor is open for you to ask. I know there's a delay, so I'll wait a little while. But if I don't get any questions, then I'm going to sign off because I still have more work to do. Something big is coming, guys. I've really been working on something. If you're not already subscribed to my email list, please subscribe today. I'll be making a big announcement. Probably tomorrow I'll make an announcement. And then I have some more goodies that are going out in my email. So my website, www.theglamscientist.com, there will be a pop-up. And it'll tell you that you can get a trend report. Thank you for posting that for me, Tara. You'll get a trend report that's free. What else comes with it? Trend report. Okay, trend reports are not free. My trend report is free for you if you sign up. Trend reports cost lots and lots of money because they're valuable. Super valuable. So you'll get a trend report, but you'll also be subscribed to the email list. And I sent a lot of information through the list. I only talk to you when I have something to say. Lately, I've had a lot to say, so I've been emailing a few times a week. But it's valuable information, and it'll really take you to the next level. So if you please sign up for the email list. I have an announcement tomorrow, and I also have a lot of resources. And for those of you that some are a few thousand, they really are. She's talking about the trend reports. Trend reports are expensive. If you've ever wondered how brands seem to always have the exact product that's on trend when the trend hits, it's because they had a trend report. They were paying attention. They knew who to call to make sure that they were in the know so that they had their products lined up. So the trend report that you will get from me is for the spring summer season of 2016. So you will be 6 months ahead. If you get that trend report today, you will know what's going to happen in March, April, May. You'll know exactly what you need to be releasing. So it'll put you in position to release products that are right on time for the market that your customer base is actually going to be looking for. And they're going to be looking for it because the products are going to be showing up in their magazines. The celebrities are going to be wearing them all over the red carpet and doing their press. The models will be wearing them. All the, the hot people, like the way the trends start, you'll be ahead of that. So when people start looking for products to give them the lip of the season or the skin look of the season, whether that's a full face of makeup or that's a fresh face, you'll know. The hair, what's going to be the trendiest? Is it going to be sleek hair or is it going to be curls? Are we going natural? Like, what are we going to do? That's what the trend report is all about. So it's very important, if you care, to be ahead and always on time for the market, that you have a trend report. I'm giving you a trend report for free. I'll probably never do that again because, like Rashida said, they're worth thousands of dollars. But I'll teach you how to figure it out if I decide not to sell it or release another one. So I don't see any questions, so I'm not going to stay. I will head out. But it was really great to catch up with you guys, to come back on Periscope. I love talking to you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, for children too. Wait, what does that mean? Hi, Memphis with love for children too? I don't know. I'll wait for you to elaborate on that if it's a question I can answer. Okay, bye guys.